Some of us saw this coming a mile away. We said the so-called bromance between President Trump and Elon Musk was bound to explode, and now it finally has. Last night, the two titans went to war in a no-holds-barred verbal slugfest that could have epic legal and political fallout. Buckle up, folks. We are diving into what was said, what sparked the clash, and what this could mean for Trump, Musk, and the future of the MAGA movement. And yes, there is a possible lawsuit. Let's unpack it all next.
Be leaders ourselves.
Black women are being used by the Democrat Party.
All of these socioeconomic indicators are in the negative, particularly for black people.
They want mob rule. When Trump was in office, please somebody tell me what act of dictatorship did he perform?
She had Donald Trump's hair on top of her head. And she's sitting here talking about brown girl this, brown girl that.
Because she's a black woman.
They would ask her how to spell her first name and clap like sea monkeys.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
What's up, everybody? It is Friday, and it's time for Pop and Politics. I'm KJ. Let me introduce you to my co-hosts. Of course, we have Nicole Bennett.
Hey, y'all.
And Shelly E.
Hi, everybody.
All right. Before we light this fire, do your part. Tap that thumbs up, folks, as you comes in. It really helps to get our video out in front of a larger audience. And subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on your notifications. We are live here on YouTube and Rumble. If you're on the go, you can catch us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify under the name Pop and Politics. We love our chat. We shout out every super chat. So drop your thoughts, show your love, and join the conversation that the mainstream media wishes didn't exist. This is not just a podcast. This is a movement of God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people that value freedom. Stand with us. We are still the MAGA movement, folks. It's still MAGA.
Oh, let's go.
This is where it started. This is where it's going to end. So subscribe so we can amplify this rallying call for freedom. All right, ladies, let's set it off. Can you believe we are only not even really 6 months into President Trump's second term? It feels like everything is happening. I mean, what's next? What is next? All right,
citizenship. That's what's
yes, yeah, definitely. All right, so let's get into this. As you guys saw last night, everything came to a head with President Trump and Elon Musk. Want to take you guys to this first clip of this reporter talking to President Trump about why Elon Musk is upset. This is clip one.
Thank you, Mr. President. The criticism that I've seen, and I'm sure you've seen, regarding Elon Musk and your big, beautiful bill, what's your reaction to that? Do you think it in any way hurts passage in the Senate, which, of course, what is you're seeking?
Well, look, I've always liked Elon, and it's always very surprised. You saw the words he had for me, and he hasn't said anything about me that's bad. I'd rather have him criticize me than the bill, because the bill is incredible. It's the biggest cut in the history of our country. We've never cut. It's about 1.6 trillion in cuts. It's the biggest tax cut. You would say people's taxes will go way down, but it's the biggest tax cut in history. We are doing things in that bill that are unbelievable. And when you look at what we're doing for small businesses, for people, for middle-income people, all of the things that we're doing, nobody's ever seen anything like it. And, Elon's upset because we took the EV mandate, and, which was a lot of money for electric vehicles. And, they're having a hard time, the electric vehicles, and they want us to pay billions of dollars in subsidy. And, Elon knew this from the beginning. He knew it for a long time ago. That's been in there. I would say, JD, that hasn't changed. That's been right from the beginning. Mr. Secretary, that hasn't changed at all, right from the beginning. But I know that just...
All right. So this is how it started out. President Trump, we know all week, really, Elon Musk has been coming at President Trump, this big, beautiful bill. He was upset. We talked about this last week or this week. He's upset about different things within the bill. He felt like there wasn't enough cuts in the bill to bring down the deficit. And he has been upset, and he has been vocal on media on X about him being upset. Now, President Trump didn't respond until last night. And you saw that press conference where this was the first time President Trump actually responded to Elon Musk's tech on X, stuff on X. That was the first part of it. So before we go into what happened next, Shelly, did you want to comment here before we keep going?
No, I'm okay. Keep going.
Okay. Nicole, anything before we move on to the next part?
No, ma'am. Let's get to the juicy part. Let's
go. All right. Then we got a super chat. Kung Fu CJ with the $5 super chat says, "Let's go, ladies. Trump has filed suit against Elon." All right. So let's keep going on this. So again, this is the same press conference. President Trump is addressing what has happened, what has transpired with Elon Musk. This is clip 2.
Look, Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we're well anymore. I was surprised because you were here. Everybody in this room practically was here as we had a wonderful send-off. He said wonderful things about me. You couldn't have nicer. Said the best things. He's worn the hat. Trump was right about everything. And I am right about the great, big, beautiful bill. We call it a great, big, beautiful bill because that's what it is. And again, biggest tax cuts in history, biggest economic development moves anywhere. We've never done anything first. People leave my administration and they love us. And then at some point they miss it so badly. And some of them embrace it and some of them actually become hostile. I don't know what it is. It's sort of Trump derangement syndrome, I guess they call it. But we have it with others too. They leave and they wake up in the morning and the glamour's gone. The whole world is different and they become hostile. I don't know what it is. Someday you'll write a book about it and you'll let us know. Yeah.
All right. So that's how we've seen that play out. Now, Trump also revealed Musk tried to get Democrat Jared Isaacman nominated to lead NASA. Trump added he didn't need Musk to win and would have taken Pennsylvania without him. All this is going on live, and Elon Musk was watching this live press conference and immediately fired back on X and called Trump's claims false. He said he was never shown the bill, called Trump ungrateful, and defended the EV solar incentives while blasting the disgusting pork. And that's quoted. So again, this is image 1 where he says, "Without me, Trump would have lost the election. Dems would control the House and the Republicans would be 51 to 49. President Trump later on took to Truth Social and launched an all-out assault against Musk. He says Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I told him his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do, and he just went crazy." That's what he's quoted as saying. He also says he'll remove subsidies with Elon's companies like SpaceX. Trump followed up with this on, again, another Truth Social, saying the easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. Then Elon, what I personally think, crossed the line. So then Elon tweeted out on X, "Time to drop the really big bomb. Is Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they haven't been made public. Have a nice day, DJT." Elon added, "Mark this post for the future. The truth will come out." Nicole, what's your response to him saying that?
You know, these are two men that can stroke $100 million check behaving like they're broke little teenagers. You know, it's one thing when people don't get their way. It's another thing when people don't get their way and throw a temper tantrum. And this is what we're seeing. Elon's having a hissy fit, and Trump was okay with it until it got personal. And then, you know, Trump, he's not going back down. It's the New Yorker in him. He's going to come back at him. He's going to come back double hard. Elon must have a little firepower somewhere too. But this says more to me about the character of Elon Musk than it does of Donald Trump. My sincere wish is that eventually these two men will kiss and make up. The world is better if they're working together. However, Trump has it right. He does not need Elon. He's already president of the United States. And Elon should really focus on some of the situations he may find himself in.
Yeah. Shelley, did Elon cross the line? What do you think about that last post?
Yeah, the Epstein, whatever, slant. Yeah, I think that was a bit too much. However, I do want to say this. Trump has also said good things about Elon. It's not just that Elon said good things about Trump. Both of them have said good things about each other. So that's number one. Number two, this is, you know, that statement, I think it's attributed to Eleanor Roosevelt. Small minds talk about people, average minds talk about events, and great minds talk about ideas. This is what this reminds me of, the small-minded and or the average minds, and it's just feeding the fodder for drama. Okay, I hope that President Trump just ignores him right now, lets him cool off. You know, President Trump keeps on. I also think that we do and we can have legitimate disagreements with some parts of that bill, even on the Republican side. Again, I voted for Trump 3 times. Proud, do not regret doing so at all. But that never takes away my right to criticize even things on my side that I don't agree with. I'm not going to do that. I am not going to be 100% sycophant, follow the crowd mob for anybody. I've said that before, even before Trump was in office. So this is not even a jab against Trump. Some parts of that bill make me upset as well. So for my side, or many on my side, to want to downplay that, I say again, have the conversation, at least acknowledge it, right? At least acknowledge there are some valid points and concerns, and stop just saying, oh, okay, well, you know, they are wrong. That's just them being against Trump. No, it's not. I said I support the bill overall. I support Trump overall. Is this a big drama fest? This reminds me of, I've never even watched those shows. What's those Real Housewives shows? KJ, whatever type of, you know, people just get on there just bitching back and forth, and the audience, people love it. I mean, really, I would rather spend my time talking about substantive matters than two men that have really great talents and strengths, are great, like you said, Nicole, great together for our country and have done some wonderful things. I would really rather talk about those things than this just the drama fest.
Yeah, I don't agree. And I'll tell you why. So first off, this isn't Nene leaks and Fedra. Okay, we're talking about the richest man in the world. We're talking about the president of the United States. We're talking about Elon Musk. Not only is he the richest man in the world, but he has several security clearances. He's been overseeing many aspects of our government for the last several months. The list goes on. He has defense contracts within the United States. This is a lot more than the situation between Candy Burgess and Nene Leakes. Okay, and now it's one thing if they're arguing back and forth about the difference in opinion on budgets, on policy, on things like that. We can disagree on all types of things as patriots, as political people, different parties, but you're not gonna lie on me. You're not gonna lie on me, and that's exactly what it sounds like he did. Because let's be real. If there were anything remotely incriminating about Trump and the Epstein files, the Democrats would have leaked it a long time ago. No. These people aren't exactly known for restraint. You think they sit on a nuclear grade dirt bag or gossip or information, I should say, like this, because it might splash back on them?
I'm not talking about Elon. I'm not
They
talking about
would
the
have
Epstein
carved
files
out the
necessarily.
Trump part, dropped it like a bomb, and torched the rest. That's politics 101. And that's the issue
Yes.
I have.
I get
Not
it with
about
that.
their
That's fine.
differences on the budget, not about that. but
That's
the fact
fine.
That
That's fine.
He said
That's
those. He said that President
Yes.
Trump was involved in this Epstein.
Yes. And I hope President Trump moves on. I hope President Trump moves on. But I will have this to you to say, Epstein files or no Epstein files. I'm not saying President Trump is in them. And I think that was just a crass attack, if you will, that line that Elon put out about President Trump with the Epstein files. I will say this: we do have Patel and Bongino and Bondi. We don't have the Epstein files yet that they promised us already. So, and this is our administration.
Right.
That part. That just goes back to your comment, Shelley, that, you can rock out for somebody without crashing out. I mean, you can be an 80-20, a 70-30, that kind of thing. It works out. But, to your point, KJ, about who these men are and what this fight looks like, if we take a look at this politically, how long do you think it's going to take for the Democrats to call Elon and say, you know what, come on home? Come on back on our side and see how things are. The same Elon that they've been calling dirty names for 5 months, the same Elon they tried to ruin his company, they're firebombing Teslas and all of that. It's just a matter of time before someone reaches out to him and say, hey, come on back. We're happy to have you. It's going to be interesting to see what he does. Did his politics really change, or was he like everyone else wanting to pile on with a winner?
Right. That's exactly true. Now, Trump has responded. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nicole.
No, I said everybody loves a winner.
Yeah. And now Trump has responded on Truth Social, saying, I don't mind Elon turning against me, but he should have done so months ago. This is one of the greatest bills ever presented to Congress. It's a record cut in expenses, 1.6 trillion, and the biggest tax cut ever given. If this bill doesn't pass, there will be a 68% tax increase and things far worse than that. I didn't create this mess. I'm just here to fix it. This puts our country on a path of greatness. Make America great again. And I 100% agree with this. This is Biden's fault. And this is the message conservatives, Republicans need to hone in on, not squabbling back and forth over this bill. We need to talk about how this is Biden's mess. We're not going to clean it up. We're not going to, decrease the budget in just 6 months. Okay. We got to put something out there. And this is what is there. Now, before we get into that, now let's talk about this possible defamation suit. Take a look. This is clip 3.
Now, Trump hasn't responded. Some are taking this as an admission, not me. I think, again, unless Musk does some serious ass kissing on the quick, Trump is going to sue him for defamation. And if Trump sues, I think he wins. Now, I don't often like Trump's use of litigation. I didn't like it when he threatened to sue my parents for giving birth to me. True story. And I don't like him suing 60 Minutes. No way they lose that lawsuit for editing. They always edit. Most interviews are edited. CBS is just over a barrel because allegedly their merger won't be approved until the suit is settled. That's dirty pool. This is different. The reason a public figure is easy to insult is because there's a very high legal bar to prove damage. You have to show that the person who said it showed actual malice, what they call reckless disregard of truth. What does that mean? That means that you knew or had reason to know that what you put out was wrong and you did it anyway. This is not just Musk, the mogul. This is coming from Musk, who was so close to the White House that he had all kinds of clearances and access with his Doge guys digging through everything. Trump could argue not only is the allegation false, but that Musk knows it's false. He knows what he said is BS. And then he could force a huge settlement or a humongous award.
All right. So do you think that there's a possibility President Trump sues him for defamation, Shelley?
It's always a possibility. I honestly, I hope that that President Trump just ignores Elon Musk. It's always a possibility. But what I find interesting now is so funny that now Chris Cuomo of all people is basically talking about the things that he did, particularly during the scamdemic. But now all of a sudden he's quote unquote the right people on the Republican side on the right are highlighting this in particular. Oh, Chris Cuomo is saying this, so he's saying something that we want to hear because now we're against Elon. Look, this is what I mean about the drama of it all. It is a tantrum. It's a tantrum fight, and what the adults in the room should do. What do you do when children are throwing tantrums? You just leave them alone, ignore them best. That's what you can do best. It's always a possibility for a suit. I would hope that President Trump just keeps going, and we keep winning.
What about you, Nicole? Do you think there's a possibility for a suit, or you think he should just keep going?
I think he should push forward. I mean, we got so much other stuff to do. This is such a huge distraction on a weekend news cycle, no less, because, this is liberal media is losing its mind. Like, this is the story of the year. I want to see the big, beautiful bill passed in some form. I know the Senate is probably going to take some things and make it their own. And then it goes back to the House and they'll probably do a little few things. And then finally it will go to the president. But I want them to get back to the business at hand. When you take a look at the first 3 months of Trump's presidency, all of the legislation was coming out of the White House. The White House was pushing. We finally got Congress to do a little something. And now here's this foolishness. Trump should just squash it, walk away from it, let Elon have his tantrum out in the world. Trump is still president of the United States, and we have an agenda to follow. This is not a part of that agenda. It is not.
All right. Kung Fu CJ with the $5 super chat says, I posted that the Dems would have leaked this one January 2nd, 24. Yep, I agree there. Well, we wonder if Kung Fu CJ with another super chat says, now the EVs have to compete for sales.
Exactly.
All right. How is MAGA handling this? How is the base, President Trump's base, handling this? Take a look at this. This is on Bannon's War Room. This is clip 4.
I've been saying this for many years, that Trump is just the least pay-to-play president of all time. And this movement was fueled by grassroots donors and the MAGA base. It was never fueled by billionaires. And so it's great that all these tech bros, came out of nowhere, decided to donate millions to Trump's inauguration. But Trump didn't care. He doesn't answer to the tech oligarchs. He answers to we the people. I mean, look at Elon Musk. He gave $288 million to Trump, hoping to get his EV tax credits, his H-1B foreign workers, and his preferred NASA nominee. Trump didn't cave an inch on it. And these tech bros that spent the last 8 years trashing Trump, crawling, to him after he won in November, donating millions to the inauguration. I mean, look, he really has not caved in for anything. Look at Mark Zuckerberg, Tim Cook. Yeah, they got front seats at the inauguration, but they really haven't gotten much more. I mean, they pushed for the H-1B visas and got shut down. They pushed for their own antitrust nominees at the FTC and DOJ. They all got shut down. They pushed, to end these lawsuits. They have monopoly lawsuits at the DOJ with both Apple and with Meta. Those are going forward. I love her, but Miriam Adelson gave $100 million only to see Trump tell Netanyahu to go pound sand. That is because President Trump, his decisions are not made by the donor class. They are made by the base and where he believes that he should lead this country to. And so I'm really proud, actually, of President Trump, how he stood so firm and tall, while Elon just looks like, frankly, a child in this.
All right. What are your thoughts on that, Shelley, that exchange?
Yeah, I mean, again, President Trump, keep going, keep winning. We have so much more to do. And again, I'm not here to down Elon. Is he throwing a tantrum right now? Yes, I think he is. Am I glad that his EVs and anybody else's credits? I told you before, I'm sick of us paying for everybody else's stuff. Put your product on the market. You have billions and billions of dollars. Put your product on the market and let it compete fairly, like anything else would have to do. So I'm not upset about him losing out on those credits or EVs mandates or whatever. I don't think the government should be telling any damn body what kind of car you should buy and drive, what kind of refrigerator you need to have or stove or what your temperature or your thermometer should be set at in your damn home. That's not the place of the government. However, I'm not downing Elon per se, but he's throwing a tantrum, leave him alone. President Trump, we have more to do. Elon did a good job spearheading and getting Doge started. Let's continue that. Let's find more waste and fraud and abuse in governments across the board. Look, just as I was coming on, if I'm not mistaken, SCOTUS just gave President Trump another win. They allowed him to have Doge go back into Social Security. So now they can look at those books. So, hey, I'm all for it. Let's keep going. This is just child's play, and let children play where children want to play.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nicole, I want to get your thoughts on this next exchange. President Trump this morning was talking to CNN's Dana Bash, and he had this to say about Elon Musk. This is clip 5.
Joining us now, someone who just got off the phone with the president. CNN chief political correspondent Dana Bash joins us now by phone. Dana, what did he tell you?
Good morning, John. Well, he said that he's, quote, well, here's exactly what he said, quote, "I'm not even thinking about Elon. He's got a problem. The poor guy's got a problem." He said he won't be speaking to him for a while, but he said he wishes Elon Musk well. It was a short conversation. He didn't seem very exercised about it. And the interesting thing is, of course, the context of this is how many people who are in both men's orbits are trying to broker a peace deal, so to speak, and trying to get them to talk because of the concern about the fallout in so many directions. I mean, the blast radius from this fallout is really, really big and very wide. But right now, he said he's not interested in that, and he's moving on. And in typical Donald Trump fashion, John, he, before I even asked the question, wanted to talk about what he wanted the storyline to be today about the economy. He was talking about gas prices. He said he was waiting for the jobs numbers to come out, which I think is about 2 minutes from now. So as he has done his entire career, not just.
All right, Nicole. So you heard what President Trump said. He said he's got a problem. What do you think he was talking about there?
You know, I don't even care. What the important part about what she said that Trump said in that telephone call is the economy. Let's push forward. There is a limited time window for us to get all of this done before the midterms, and we're not wasting time. He can fight with Elon on his free time. Him and Elon can go down to Mar-a-Lago, play a little golf, and work it out. This is much to do about nothing. I get it. It's a slow news day, a slow news cycle. This was salacious. We didn't get a Diddy verdict or anything. So this was the story. This was the buzz. 2 very rich men with huge egos, almost bigger than their bank accounts, had a hissy fit. One had a hissy fit, talked trash. The other one talked a little trash. And guess what? One of them is the president of the United States, and he's got better things to do than worry about Elon Musk. And I love that he said that. I'm not worried about Elon. He's got a problem. Let him work it out.
Well, this is Elon, his last video or last appearance in the Oval Office. This is clip 7. Take a look.
Well, it's a very sad case. It's a case we win. We can't lose that case because we have the right to make grants. We're not going to make any grants like that. But I don't think Harvard's been acting very nicely. I think Columbia wants to get to the bottom of the problem. They've acted very well. And there are other institutions, too, that are acting, but Harvard's trying to be a big shot. And all that happens is every 3 days we find another 100.
All right. So before we get into this, we want to acknowledge our super chatter here. All right. We have another super chat. Planet Hulk says, "You must remember Elon is on drugs from what I hear. So you never know what he will say out of his mouth that's not true." Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Yeah, I think that's what it is. His drug use appears to have increasingly gotten out of control. So last week, the New York Times wrote, Mr. Musk's drug consumption went well beyond occasional use. He told people he was taking so much ketamine, a powerful anesthetic, that it was affecting his bladder, a known effect of chronic use. He took ecstasy and psychedelic mushrooms. And he traveled with a daily medication box that held about 20 pills, including ones with markings of the stimulant Adderall, according to a photo of the box and people who have seen it. So, I mean, to put it politely, Musk doesn't look well. He, in that video, that was the recent video of him in the Oval Office, he had a black eye. And he said that he claimed it was his 5-year-old son who gave it to him. So seems kind of a stretch to me. But Elon has acknowledged regular use of ketamine. And so, I mean, to me, this is an issue for me. This is the world's, as I mentioned, richest man. He's head of a big public company and owner of the world's most important platform for journalism. He's also a defense contractor with top secret clearances vital to American national security. But that right there that we just saw in that video, the mood swings, the instability that we're seeing, the irritability, the impulsivity, that looked like Pookie from New Jack City. That's a fiend right there. So, I mean, am I making too much of a big deal about this?
Probably, but again, I don't know what he takes or doesn't take. He said he takes the ketamine and whatever else. Maybe he does have autism, but guess what I would say to that in general? Welcome to America in 2025, because 95% of Americans take something. I'm not talking about ketamine or some kind of medication for whatever. I'm saying medication. I'm not saying.
Oh, okay. Because ketamine is a pretty serious drug.
Right.
That's just what's it? The Perry from Friends died from.
I mean, you can die from many drugs, KJ. You can die from overdose of Tylenol. We don't know why he's taking it. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't know what he's taking. What he said he's taking the ketamine, or whoever the New York Times reported. Okay, again, to me, if he's taking it, he's taking it. Whatever. He got the black eye. He said it was his son. I don't know. I don't care. All I care about ultimately is what our agenda is, and are we moving forward? Elon Musk does not have decision-making power in this. There are plenty of people who I would say, if you want to call it with the security clearances, who are worse than Elon, who have done greater damage to our company. Someone named Biden and Clinton come to mind. Those two people, they come to mind, and maybe some other ones there. But nevertheless, I mean, again, this is like a media cycle. It's media fodder. All these people now, they can't wait. Dana Bash, and they are just dripping, salivating. They were just waiting for something like this to happen in this administration, so that they can get their ratings back up for the weekend, and then they will find any kind of way. All of a sudden now, they're gonna find a different angle to bash Trump. Whatever.
We have Kung Fu CJ with the $2 super chat, says my cousin at 3 gave me a bloody nose. All right. Well, I mean, there are some people that are actually happy that this schism occurred between President Trump and Elon Musk. They are saying that Elon Musk was not really part of the MAGA movement, and that he was actually too close to China. Take a look here. This is clip 12.
Here at the airport, I'm about to board my flight for San Salvador. The goal of this mission is to let the Trump administration, to let the government of El Salvador know that we are going to keep fighting to bring Abrego Garcia.
He said he was not able to make that happen. He said, I'm not interested at this moment in taking a tour of CCOT. I just want to meet with Mr. Abrego Garcia. Trump administration is lying about Abrego Garcia.
This is why independent media is so important. Thanks to people like you, patriots who love America and stand for truth, we're making a difference. Together, we've turned them off, called them out for their lies and propaganda, and held them accountable for their disdain for God-fearing, freedom-loving Americans like us. But we can't stop here. It's time to take action with our dollars. Let's make 2025 the year we double down on our commitment to values-driven choices. Vote with your dollars. Support Made in America. Back companies that honor our families, faith, and country. We found an exciting way to make this switch, and we want you to join us. Check out www.popandswitch.com and click Yes, I Want to Make the Switch. It's that easy. It's time to walk away from corporations like BlackRock and Vanguard that undermine our principles. Let's invest in America. Let's support businesses that share our love for this country. You don't have to take on everything at once, but you can start here. Join us in making this one small yet powerful step. Visit www.popandswitch.com. Click the link and schedule a call with our team to learn how you can make the switch. Together, we can create real change.
What's up, guys? This is Giovanni, co-founder of Metro Conservative Media. We are the definitive home for the urban conservative. You think you got what it takes? Go to metroconservativemedia.com and click join the movement now.
Be specific about what it is Elon is or has been doing that turns you off so much.
His entire supply chain is in China, and he is unbelievably close with the CCP. Xi Jinping asked him to build a showroom for Tesla in Xinjiang, which is where the Uyghurs are being genocided, and he complied. He didn't have to do that. He's the richest man on the planet. So he has this unbelievably obsequious relationship with China, who I believe is our greatest adversary. I don't see how you can truly be an American patriot when you have to bend the knee to China and have proven willing to bend the knee to China over and over again. He's such a maverick on Twitter when it comes to American politics, but he has never once said a negative word about the CCP, which of course engages in tons and tons of, human rights violations, the genocide of the Uyghurs, and of course undermines America at every turn that it can. The way that he related to American workers over the H-1B visa squabble over Christmas, when he literally endorsed a tweet calling Americans retarded, I really, really, really didn't like that. I don't think he has the same values as the MAGA movement. He's not religious. He has this kind of transhumanist view. He thinks that Americans are going to be, people are going to become computerized and that intelligence is going to be machine made. All of this stuff for me really puts him at odds with the values of the MAGA movement. Now that's
all right. What are your thoughts there, Shelley? That was Batya Anagar Sargon. She's on Megyn Kelly's show quite often, and she's a big MAGA supporter. What are your thoughts there?
I love Batya. I have Batya. I'm sorry, I've been listening to her for a few years, even before she started coming on Megyn Kelly. Look, she's right in a sense. She's right, not in a sense. She's right in one aspect. First of all, Elon is a businessman, right? He's going to go wherever he is allowed to build his cars and whatever his toys are and sell them. Granted, we've known for years that China has human rights abuses. Nevertheless, guess what? So do some of our companies here in America buy and sell products via or have them made via China and other places that have some abuses. We buy them. And I'm not saying that's right. I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying these are things that happen. We're talking about Elon because of all this blow up. Nevertheless, he may not be a MAGA, I don't know what you want to call it, a MAGA sycophant, if you will, or proselyte, but he has an ear and an eye for running a business, or at least certainly dodging the fraud, waste, and abuse that so far that we have found. I don't have this instinct, if you will, to have 100% allegiance, that everybody has to have 100% allegiance to anything. That's just not an instinct that I have. You can be on the side and support the side for the values or the overwhelming values that you support it for, particularly in this case for MAGA. But I don't want the MAGA or even the Republican conservative side to get to this, what we call authoritarian streak, where everybody has to agree 100% on everything that we say, or whoever the we are, people, the we, whoever that is, or else you can't be a part of our party. I think that is just so ridiculous. Ronald Reagan said it's better to agree on 80% than the 20% that you disagree on and make that the issue. I don't want this authoritarian streak. I just don't have that instinct. I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What is your thoughts there, Nicole?
The last thing we need to do is go back to maybe 10 years ago when Republicans had to pass a litmus test in order to be, are you conservative enough to call yourself a Republican? Are you red enough to be MAGA? I don't want to go back to those days, because what it did is it alienated so many people who shared our values, but didn't want to take the damn litmus test. And listen, there are some people who are fine Republicans who don't want to be identified as MAGA, ultra MAGA, super MAGA, duper, 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 whatever it is. They don't want the label. They vote the way we want them to vote. They believe the things that we all share, core tenets, but we're not going back to the days of the litmus test. We don't want to start doing what the Democrats do, putting people into these silos and then making our legislators dance for the silo. Let's stay one big group. Elon's having a hissy fit. There's no reason for MAGA to respond to any of this foolishness. Keep pushing the agenda. Again, we're on a tight time window. They want that big, beautiful bill by July 4th. I think it'll be closer to Labor Day. I'm just going to be really honest with you. When all of it's said and done, maybe the day after Labor Day, President Trump will sign the bill. But all of this has to take a back seat. All of the drama, the name calling, your mama slept with Epstein and all. We don't have time for that. We don't have time.
Now, is it fair to say, because I know you guys seem to be making light of this, and we're not talking really about your everyday libertarian. We're talking about a man who was, pretty much at the front of the movement, not so much the MAGA movement, but he was in a position to make real decisions within the movement, the so-called movement, the administration. He put in millions and millions of dollars, as he feels, though he actually believes he was the reason why President Trump won. So it's not just someone that may, fall under the big tent, as you all like to say. I mean, this man, was a major influence within this election. So, and to say that, so I just want to make sure I understand, are you all saying then that you don't really think it's a big deal that he has close ties with China? It was just reported that he tried to force his way into the Pentagon for a classified briefing on war plans with China recently. The New York Post is reporting Trump was outraged and called it a national security threat. Musk security clearances are now may be suspended. They're looking into that. So, this guy, I mean, he had a lot of influence. Are we supposed to just say it's not a big deal?
I don't see what the big deal is. Number one, in a sense that for his business purposes, that's what he's going to do. He's going to go where his products are sold and allowed to be built, or whatever you call it. Again, if his clearances are pull them. So what? Pull them. If that's a security risk in whatever shape or form, pull them. President Trump has pulled others' security clearances. Keep doing it if that's what it takes. I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time focusing on Elon. Elon is not the president. Elon may have influence, but guess what? Other people have influence. If you have access to the president, that's any administration, including Trump. What I guess I don't get is, now, okay, let me get another example. This may be a loose example, but this is what comes to mind. There are people, even in the Republican side, who did not support Trump before, and now they are rah for him. Are we not to trust them?
Who?
I'm not saying they may not have as much influence or donors.
Well, that's the actual point I'm making about the amount of power and influence that this person.
It works the opposite way too. It can work the opposite way. All I'm saying is that Elon is not the president. President Trump is. He's making the decisions. If he wants to pull his clearance, go ahead. I support that. Fine. But let's keep moving on. This whole thing makes me upset just because it's happened. And I know the media is going to run with it. They're going to find anything in any angle, but it's up to us. We realize that we should know that's what the media does. But now that it's confirming some of our own biases, we're like, oh, Chris Cuomo. I like Chris Cuomo in general. I'm glad he left wherever he left, but now he's the authoritarian. He's the authority on, making lawsuits, and Elon and Trump are going to go to court. Oh, give me a break.
Well, moving right along, we have Pam Bondi. So Pam Bondi announced today Kilmar Abrego Garcia has arrived in the United States to face justice on charges of alien smuggling and conspiracy. Take a look. This is clip 11.
And conspiracy to commit alien smuggling in violation of Title 8 U.S.C. 1324. We want to thank President Bukele for agreeing to return Abrego Garcia to the United States. Our government presented El Salvador with an arrest warrant, and they agreed to return him to our country. We're grateful to President Bukele for agreeing to return him to our country to face these very serious charges. This is what American justice looks like. Upon completion of his sentence, we anticipate he will be returned to his home country of El Salvador. The grand jury found that over the past 9 years, Abrego Garcia has played a significant role in an alien smuggling ring. They found this was his full-time job, not a contractor. He was a smuggler of humans and children and women. He made over 100 trips, the grand jury found, smuggling people throughout our country, MS-13 members, violent gang terrorist organization members throughout our country. Thousands of illegal aliens were smuggled. This is especially disturbing because Abrego Garcia is also alleged with transporting minor children. The defendant traded the innocence of minor children for profit. There are even more disturbing facts that the grand jury uncovered. It is alleged this defendant is part of the same smuggling ring responsible for the death of more than 50 migrants in 2021 after the tractor trailer overturned in Mexico. This is part of that same ring. The defendant abused undocumented alien females, according to co-conspirators who were under his control while transporting them throughout our country.
All right. So the Democrats, they all went down, one of them back here in the U.S. Now he's back and he's about to face smuggling charges. Shirley, what are your thoughts on this case?
Good. I want this over too. Let's get this. I'm upset that he came back. I wanted them, like Nicole was saying, have the trial or the hearings. They could have had it in El Salvador, wherever he was. They could have very well hooked him up with some nice cameras and lighting, and made him put his makeup on, and then had the hearing with a judge from the United States. This is this is a distraction. It's farce, but it's a farce. But I hope they quickly bring some quick, swift justice and get his ass back off of U.S. soil very quickly. This cannot go on all through Labor Day or through the rest of the year. It can't. It just cannot do that.
Yeah, Nicole, what are your thoughts on this thing? I mean, he's back and he's going to be, it looks like, in jail.
Well, that's the beauty of this whole thing. This is a masterstroke by Pam Bondi. Listen, he was gone on the detention for immigration issues, civil, as the Democrats like to tell us all the time, really a civil penalty. She's brought him back here to face some major felony charges, right? So when she sends him packing again, not one Democrat can say that he ought to be back in this country. She has made it to a point where anyone who says he should be back here just because it was a civil penalty or a civil issue can no longer say that. She's brought the charge, the grand jury has indicted, and it's going to be a beautiful thing when they put him back on that big bird to go right back to El Salvador, right back to that same prison to serve his time for violations of our law. That's a good look. That's an absolutely good look.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like his lawyers made a big mistake by pushing for his return here.
They should have left well enough alone.
Yeah. If he's found guilty, he's going to spend a long time in prison complaining about his ideological radical lawyers who made a hero out of him and tried to get him back to the U.S. when that was not in his own self-interest. It was really stupid to me. And if he's acquitted, they can still bring the deportation charges, upon him. So, I mean, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't.
It's a win-win-win-win-win.
Right.
It's a beautiful look.
And let's get it done and over with, put the peg in it and move on.
So we can do other things. Absolutely. We're on the clock, folks. We don't have time for foolishness. We're on the clock.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they're going to fast track this thing. But knowing the Democrats and knowing how they love the criminals, somebody will probably get him a really good lawyer and try their best to get this man off. I don't see how he would get off, but this is how they prefer to use their energy, money, and time, by advocating for criminal illegals who trafficked, who brought in drugs all types of things across this border, across the United States. And as we have many, many other problems here in this country, they are advocating for this criminal illegal. This is ridiculous. It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to acknowledge our super chatters here, folks. Thank you all so much. All right, let's see here. We have Cases and Cams with Daniel Cunningham. Thank you so much for your super sticker. All right. Gina Clegg, she has become a member of our Freedom Seekers Club. It's a great way to support the channel, and you get really cool perks. Thank you so much. All right. Kung Fu CJ says, ladies, this is a distraction. That is it. That's all. Thank you, Kung Fu CJ. Gina Clegg with the $10 super chat says, don't know much about Special K cops shows, but the eye rolling clearly indicates he is struggling, remaining somewhat conscious. Oh, she's talking about Elon. Not even close to fully conscious. Torso sway is to remain upright. All right. Thank you so much for your $10 super chat. All right. Carla says, thankful for pop and politics. Thank you. Thank you so much for your support, folks. Your super chats do go a long way in helping us produce conservative content. So definitely keep them coming, and we really appreciate you all. Another way you can support the channel is our merch. We have merch, folks. You can go to our website at popandpoliticslive.com and click on the shop button. You can get hats, you can get t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, mugs. We're going to put more t-shirts on there as we enter the summer months. But certainly it's a good way to support the channel, and you can show, a message that you want to give out to the world. And it's got a sort of a subtle way. So great conversation pieces there. Again, that's popandpoliticslive.com/shop.
I'm missing my mug tonight. I got to drink from the bottle.
All right. All right. Well, you do it any way you can, I guess. All right. So moving right along, we all talked about the new book that Karine Jean-Pierre has been pushing out. She came out with the announcement this week that she had a new book. She's now left the Democrat Party, so-called, so she says, and she is independent. Well, one person who was not happy about this, who saw through her pretty much foolishness, foolishness, nonsense, right, is Stephen A. Smith. All right. So he had a lot to say about her recent announcements, particularly because she was just on The View and she was again taking up for Biden and didn't take any, don't say anything about this book or anything at all. And here he is talking about it. This is, let me see here. I just lost the clip.
You were not the White House press secretary when you showed up on ABC's The View a couple of months ago. You were talking major stuff then. You were not the White House press secretary. You were an American citizen who was not working in the White House. What the hell you going on the show for then? Bloviating about Joe Biden and how he was alert and he was spry and he was a great commander in chief and he was sharp and all of this stuff. I don't have it clipped in front of me because I just saw the story. You're lucky I don't have time to pull it up. But I'm fully aware of the fact that you were not the White House press secretary when you were on The View spewing the same stuff you had spewed when you were the White House press secretary. So all bets are off. You didn't have to do that, but you chose to. Live with your decisions. Live with your decisions. You didn't have to do that, but that's what you chose to do. You chose to go front and center and still spew the same party line. So what the book's going to tell us? The book's going to tell us more about the Democrats. The book is the book going to be an extension of Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson's book, Original Sin. Yet another Democrat coming out and telling us about stuff that a whole bunch of stuff on the right was telling us, but y'all swore we shouldn't listen to while y'all were engaging in cancel culture, while y'all were engaging in excoriating anybody that called the Democratic Party out for what the hell was going on? That's what we supposed to do now? That's what we supposed to do. We're supposed to listen to you now. Okay. I'll do that. Karine Jean-Pierre, you are more than welcome to come on the Stephen A. Smith Show and explain your book and what it's going to say. But not only why we didn't hear from you while you were the White House press secretary, which is very understandable, but how come we didn't hear that from you afterwards? Why were we hearing the same stuff after you left the White House that you were saying while you were in the White House?
Wow. All right. Now, you know that she is in trouble. The Democrats are in trouble anytime Stephen A. Smith is coming out like that. He still voted for Kamala. So, I mean, he's had enough of these people. Nicole, what are your thoughts here?
But I agree with you, KJ. He has had enough. He's up to here with these folks. He's running out of words. You know, when my favorite part of the video is when he leaned into the camera and he was pointing his finger. That's when you know Dad's mad. Dad is big mad. You know, it's so funny to drink Democrat tears sometimes. It's just a wonderful thing after everything they put us through as Republicans, as women who are Republicans, minorities who are Republicans. It is so fun to watch them kind of implode on themselves by overplaying their hand. Karine Jean-Pierre in this little foolish book and her fake "I'm now an independent," and Stephen A. has a very valid point. It seems like the people who were closest to Joe Biden are the ones who are like, oh, he was perfectly fine. He's running circles around the staff. You know, this is the smartest guy that ever lived. Are now writing tell-alls talking about, well, you know, Joe was probably not doing the best he could with the faculties that he had and that kind of foolishness. He's right. This is absolutely a fail. If she's going to be on The View, they should pull her up a chair right next to Whoopi and she can just join the cast and they can all lose together. All of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Shelley, what are your thoughts there?
So first of all, I like Stephen A. He's funny to me, especially when he gets revved up, and he does. Look, people are sick of this. That inner circle, protected, covered, Biden, and you know, all of that foolishness. Look, we still don't know who left the cocaine in the White House. I want to know that on the record. I mean, I know we know, but I want to know that. But that we still don't know all of that. Stephen A. is right, and the people on the left, or at least this little protected circle, they're all coming out now trying to scramble. You know, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was them. You know, everybody's pointing at somebody else as the blame. But as far as Karine, what is it, KJP being dumb, we said she was dumb. That was a good moniker for her. I would have been totally embarrassed. She should never have come out to say that she tried to get on The View as a hostess and was not even. I mean, that's embarrassing. You don't have to have a high bar to be on The View. You just don't, right?
I mean, that's walking down the street, they be like, "Hey, you, come on over here."
That solidified the dumb for me. When I heard that, I would not have even put that out. I would have just kept that quiet. And then to top it off, she was trying to do that while she was press secretary. Well, I mean, talk about conflict of interest. I mean, if there ever was, this is a classic example of it.
Well, Jen Psaki did the same thing. I mean, she, you know, they are all really always looking to see where they can get their next dollar from.
No, but she wasn't. She applied while she was in the press secretary, KJ, at the height.
She said the same thing about Jen Psaki before she left. She was applying to MSNBC and all these other places. This is what they do. They just get recycled on these media shows, on these leftist media shows. So yeah, this is what they do.
I love Trey's comment in the chat. So the lights are on and the roaches are running.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
funny. That View thing is funny. Karine Jean-Pierre checked off every intersectionality box that you could find, and The View still did not give her a seat at that table. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. Folks, breaking news out. I haven't seen it be substantiated by any of the press, but X is going off about Cabby Lame. I'm not sure if you all are familiar with him. He is a legendary TikTok influencer and YouTuber. That's him there. Just got arrested by ICE. He is in the custody of ICE after Bo London reported the influencer. Apparently, he was here illegally. He overstayed an invalid visa, evaded taxes, and he may be deported. So he is like huge. I mean, like, I think he is second to Mr. Beast as far as YouTuber subs, views, and things like that. And I mean, ICE is not letting anybody. I mean, they're getting anybody here. You are not safe if you are here illegally. So,
listen,
yeah,
that's the message I want him to send. That's the message I want him to send. Absolutely.
Not bad.
Yeah. So that's what's just breaking. So we will continue to follow that story. But he's a huge, big YouTuber. He became a millionaire just off of YouTube. I think a multi-millionaire. He may have the record for making the most money on YouTube and I guess TikTok. So we will continue to follow this story. That'll be something, but they are not letting any stone go unturned.
Well, I can't. I'm at the point now where if I go outside of my door or wherever I'm, driving throughout the day, I'm just looking for the ICE to be running down the street chasing somebody. It's happening so much, so everywhere. I'm like, I can't. I'm gonna look around like, oh, that's ICE. They're going after somebody. I can't wait. I'm not upset at all. I am not upset at all. I mean, if he's here legally, he got to go. Shelly is tired of paying for everybody else's stuff. They got to go. I don't care. I really don't.
Now, let me ask you all, because this is something I've always been confused about with illegals. So he obviously has a job, and they're taking taxes out of his earnings. So is he in? So does that mean he's paying taxes then, or how does that work?
Taxes out of his earnings, if he's a 1099er, because most of them are 1099ers. Yeah. So 1099s, they're not taking any taxes. He needs to file.
He needs to pay the tax. Right. He has to pay with that.
So,
but that's a good point. Why are they? If he was here on a work visa or whatever, so he can work. But if he overstayed his visa, got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know there are illegals like in the different trades, like welding and things like that. Somehow they get, maybe they came on a visa of some sorts and they have a social security number or some type of number, but they're still illegal and they've been working. They're getting taxes taken out of their checks. So I'm always confused on that. Like how
they shouldn't be illegal if they have a work visa.
No, there are people here that are, they may have come over initially legally and overstayed their visa or, overstayed their whatever way they come in. And then they stay here for years and years and years. They may have jobs. They may be working for someone and taxes coming out. But
no taxes coming out. So here's the thing.
You have to pay them.
When you use the paycheck systems, you have to put people's social security numbers in there. Even if one number is wrong, it tells you that this person is not legally allowed to be employed in the United States. Most of these people who overstayed their visa end up being 1099 employees, right? Mm-hmm. So they still work for the company, they still get paid, but we don't do the taxes for them. They do their own taxes. It is a loophole. Remember, we were talking about this. If we really wanted to get serious about removing these illegals out of the United States, people who employ them as 1099ers, people who sell them cars, who, lease them houses, if we start finding those people and saying, no, you cannot sell to illegals anymore. You can't sell cars to illegals anymore. Mm-hmm. You have to be a citizen to buy a house here. You have to be a citizen to rent a home or whatever they're doing. You would see people leaving. They'd be taking that $1,000 to self-deport happily and returning to their home country on a free flight, because that's what the offer is. The offer is we'll fly you back to your nation or a nation of your choice give you $1,000 after you've been gone for a bit of time, just to get you out of here on your own accord. And many people have taken advantage of that. Many people have.
So I know for a fact that there are people here that have taxes coming out of their checks. I know people that have lived here for years. They're illegals. They worked in the trade. They have tax. They are paying taxes out of their checks. Even they have pensions. They have pensions. Now, they can't get to the pension because they do not have legal status, but they have been living here for many, many years, and they're paying taxes out of their checks, and they're illegal. So that's why I'm always curious when people say some of these. I know that may not be most of them, but there are people here, particularly ones that work in the trades, that are here illegally, but they are getting taxes taken out of their checks. Somehow they get a social security number or something. I don't know all the ins and outs of that.
So to your point, KJ, like what Nicole was saying, but to your point, that does speak to the muck and the mire of the bureaucracy that we have. How it's long, it's slow, it overlooks. You can go years or whatever under the table, whatever the word is. But that speaks to that. This is part of that's cleaning up our government. Clean up those social security files that President Trump now Doge can get back in and look at those. So this is all part of this big government. Big government never works efficiently, if you will, and certainly not to the advantage of the taxpayer, the legal taxpayers. It doesn't. So this speaks directly to that. We have too much government, too big, and it's all over the place, and it can't even clean up its own act. It just, so yeah, that speaks to that, definitely.
KJ, they may have authorization card. They call it a USA employment authorization card. So these are people who are illegal, but they're in some sort of immigration process. Now, this process can take a very long time if you don't show up for your appointments. You've got all the reasons in the world why you don't want to go. You know, there are so many people that need to be processed. People do fall through the cracks, but if they have that card has an IOE number. That IOE number you can put into your paycheck system, and it'll say this person has authorization to work in the United States. They're not a citizen.
Right. No, I know these people are not citizens, but I do know some people. I mean, they're like, you know, in their 60s, 70s. They've been here for many, many, many years. They're illegal, but they work. They've been working. And they
taxes. Let me tell you.
They are paying taxes. But somebody in the chat said they may have a fake social security number. So maybe that's what it is.
That too.
That could be that too.
The little bit of money that they're coming out of their check is not enough for what they take out of our system. It's not enough. It is just a drop in the bucket to what they cost us. And I don't care if you've been here 75 years. You got to go. You had
I agree.
75 years to get it right. That's ridiculous to me.
I agree. I totally agree there.
Why do you come here and refuse to speak the language? Why do you come and refuse to assimilate to the culture that you risk life and limb to come for? It makes no sense. It makes no sense, except for they're here to take money and send it back to their homeland.
Pretty much.
All right. Yeah. All right, folks. Well, that does it for us tonight. We will be back on Monday night at 9 p.m. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, tomorrow, we are here on the Metro Conservative Media Network, and our brother station, Just the Guys, will be on tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. So you can follow them at Just the Guys Podcast. They will be on there tomorrow at 6:30. They're every 6:30 on Saturdays. So definitely check them out. They'll have an action-packed show for you all. And then it's Sunday. I have at KJ Christian Conservative. So that's my additional channel. If you were looking for a biblical perspective on all of this, you can follow me at KJ Christian Conservative on Sunday at 9 p.m. And then, of course, Pop and Politics, where you are right now, will be back on Monday at 9 p.m. All right. So thank you all so much. We have some more additional super chats. Let's see here. We have, all right, Kung Fu CJ says, great show, ladies. Thank you so much, Kung Fu CJ. Really appreciate you. We have another one here. Kung Fu says she has been turned by the view. Yeah, turned away. Collins is another night of great discussions. Fantastic. Love you guys.
Thank you,
God bless.
Collins.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Kung Fu CJ, 1099. If you don't file, no taxes are taken. Right. That's true. All right. Dallas says, Daddy Trump taking care of his babies. USA. All right. Absolutely. All right. Thank you all so much. You all have a great weekend. God bless you. Until next time, count your blessings and live a life of purpose. Good night.